Welcome to Club Shada episode 328. This show is brought to you by Shada. We are the gods of good fortune. Big up to our stream royalty, Anand Saudi, and all our sponsors. I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's in the best feelings. Listen, I was watching my TV, chilling. I was actually watching singers or vocal coach reacting to other singers, and I was like, wow, they're amazing. I was in my living room, and I don't know why I was like, isn't it Wednesday today? Yo, I was supposed to be live an hour ago, and I was like, all right, let's go, let's just show up. So the algorithm must be like, yo, wait a minute, c'est minute 30, c'est 22h30, c'est 20... Listen, I show up when I show up, but normally I'm an hour late according to the new horaire. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. Usually you guys show up, and if not, Anyway, I want everybody to that is watching to put their likes. First of all, put like, give a like to this live to support and for the algorithm. You know how we do. And at the same time, put the flag of where you're watching from and what time it is in the country you are watching from, or this and what city you're watching from. Put the flag and the city and the time that it is. As always, you know how we do. I don't even know why I have to say this all the time. You should do it while the intro is running. You should do it. But I drank all this already. I have a special show for you tonight, as always. Listen, as always, I got my little list of subjects, but you know what? If you have subjects for me, I appreciate if you just give them to me. Don't hesitate. I take everything I can get. So let me take my list of subjects, because I want to talk about some interesting things. I want to talk about two things that have nothing to do one with each other, but first I'm going to talk about something small, nothing special, then I'm going to talk about everything else. Why is everybody dropping from YouTube? What? Focus on your live stream and let YouTube insert the ads for you. Hell no. I don't want you to do that, YouTube. You crazy? All right. Yeah, bien. What up, Amadou? Coretti. Boa noite. Emery, what up? Maria, what's popping? In Lisboa or somewhere else? I listen. What time is it? Let's get on with it. Thank you. What you mean you impressed? Who doesn't speak clear English nowadays? We all do. All right. Now I'm looking my YouTube viewership is just doing some strange back and forth. So I'm just hoping that everybody is able to hear me well and see me well on YouTube, and there's no issues. But yeah, listen, Emery, all good on YouTube. Just send some Rambos to the chat. All right. What are we talking about tonight? I want to talk to you about 3 things. Let me see. Yeah. 3 things that have nothing to do with each other, and at the same time, that are interesting. The first thing I want to talk to you about is Jada Pinkett Smith. And she put out a video, right, where, from her old memories, right? Let me see if I can find it. All right. And, at this point, I believe that people should chill. Because she shared, okay, we all know what happened, the whole entanglement, the whole thing. And listen, we also know that it's been an open couple and they just are in a life partnership. And listen, they're not, yeah, they are life partners, but whatever. With the slap at the Oscars last year, she received a lot of hate. And so Jada Pinkett Smith and Tupac Shakur lip sync and dance to a Will Smith rap as she shares a retro video. So she shared a video of her on Instagram and dancing to a song of Will Smith. And it's before she even knew that they would get married. It's before and she's with Tupac. So everybody know how much she loves Tupac and how much she cries every time she talks about him, and how much she's almost has this obsession with him. And she's receiving a lot of backlash and hate from people because of her posting this video, because it came to the point now where whatever she posts, or whenever she posts anything about Tupac, people are going to directly start saying, stop abusing of Will Smith. And when I watched the video, I found it, first I found it cute, and I found it interesting. You think in terms of destiny. You're here with your best friend, young, in college. You're probably 15, he's 17, I don't know. Or maybe you 18, 19, and he's 20, or I don't know. Listen, I don't know if they were the same age. And you don't know that that song that you are singing with that person that you cherish so much, you're going to marry that singer. So when you find that video, I don't know, 30 years later, 35 years later, and now you're married to Will Smith and you post it, even if it's Tupac, I believe everybody should be happy for her. Just try to see it in a positive way. I know that she lost a lot of points to a lot of people because of the whole entanglement shit, the whole August Alsina thing, and even worse after that, the Oscar part, and the way she decided to handle her thing with the red table and stuff, and people love Will Smith and they believe that he's less of a man because of all the things she does. But when I was looking at the comments, I was like, why is everybody so negative? Like, why is everybody thinking that everything she does is to emasculate her husband? Maybe she did before, like we've been critical of that, but like, can you just let her post her memories and of these good moments? Like, because clearly in her life is these two guys, the guy she probably really wanted and the guy she married, and that it doesn't mean that she doesn't respect the one that she married. Just mean that it is what it is. And yeah, the internet should chill. That is my opinion. And when I look at these things, for me, I think people should start being able to see things when they are cute. What is this new timeout length? You can now put people on timeout. All right, good. Glad to know. Don't forget to give me them likes. All right, people. There's a lot of likes missing. Yeah, so to me, that's the way I felt it as I was looking at this. I was like, people are just I believe that people are way too much invested in the lives of celebrities that they don't know. Listen, there's a lot of couples with open marriage out there where we married, we live in the same house, but our house is big enough that we meet for dinner and I go on my wing and you go on your wing, and maybe it's probably 2 kilometers apart, and I take my car to go to my part of the house or my part of the estate. I have my own villa out there that I live my life in there, and you have your own villa out there where you live your life, and in the middle maybe we have a place for all of us together, like to chill. It's the family room, and then the kids also have their houses. Like when you're at that level, and then maybe they have their own arrangement that works for them. And people have been saying this forever, but it feels like people go on the internet with the desire to judge other people and to be emotionally connected to stranger more than their own families. And I find it strange, personally. But it's just me. You do you. But yeah, it is what it is. So let me go to the next subject with you guys. I hope you're doing good. If you enjoyed the conversation, put some rainbows in the chat, and don't hesitate to tell me what you think, of course, in the chat, because that's what it is made for. All right, the next thing I want to talk to you about is something that I found very interesting. In the ongoing saga between France and West Africa, the ex-colonies, and especially the ones that are in the Sahel, so Burkina, Mali, Niger, Guinea, all these areas that are kind of wanting to quit its grasp. And of course there's a lot of propaganda from both sides, and of course there's also a lot of I would say there's a lot of propaganda. And from France's part, there's something that I find interesting, and I wanted to talk a little bit about history for people to understand not how we, I mean, yeah, in a way, not how we got there, but to remind people of something that is very interesting. So I saw the French president go and first of all pretend that his ambassador in Niger was held hostage. That's not true. They asked him to go. He doesn't want to go. So they told him, you know what? Yeah, we are not letting food get in until you leave. Because, listen, an hostage is not somebody who, when you get told, get the fuck out, you don't want to go. That's not a hostage. What's wrong with you? The people are saying, hey, we want you to leave this country, to the ambassador. The French president, first he comes, no, we're not leaving. We don't reply. We don't respond to orders from you because you're not legitimate. So we staying. And then the next day, the next week is like, oh, they held hostage. No, we want them to leave. These people are crazy. But I wanted to, sorry, I'm turning on the AC. Yeah. So there's some interesting parts here. And what up? So, you know, let me see, where's my note about this? I took a note about something interesting that I learned, right? So the second thing the president said was that the French are there because all these countries, their ex-colonies, ask them to come and help them with terrorism that was infesting the region. But that was 10 years ago. And if I'm asking you, please come help me with my kitchen sink. It's broken. Can you come? You're a plumber. Can you come and help me out with this? And you say, yeah, sure. I'm going to need to come there for 2 days and help you out. So you come with all your things, the plumber comes, and then after 10 years, you look at the plumber, he's there chilling in your couch, eating your food, sleeping in your bed, and you're like, bro, you were supposed to come for the day, spend the afternoon, repair my sink, and then get the fuck out. How come you're still here after 10 years? And you cannot come and say, yeah, but because we're here to help you about this and that. And what they love to forget to talk about in this whole conversation is the part where France is completely responsible of the spread of all this terrorism in the region because, you know, when they destroyed Libya, and Libya got without a head, without a leader, that's how all these people that they gave money to all create this whole war, all these people, then they spread out in the Sahel. And that's why all this situation exists. So you don't come here and pretend you're helping with a situation, helping to put out the fire when you're responsible for the fire yourself. And it's very interesting because back at the end of the World War, France was in ruins as the rest of Europe. And who had money was the US, the Americans. And the Americans, they came to France. When they liberated France, they came with all their soldiers, and they didn't say we're going. They said, yo, we're gonna stay and we're gonna create a French government that we controlled by the Americans. I don't know if you know about that, but that was just after the World War. They said, yeah, we're gonna create a government that we will support, and there's gonna be a puppet government we control. We're gonna have these people, and we're gonna put our people there, and we're gonna create a French government. And they even did. They start printing a new French money made by the Americans, and the same way the French are doing with the CFA. So the Americans were doing exactly the same thing to the French. You can look it up. It's documented. And at that point, the French started saying, hey, you help us win the war. Thank you for liberating us. But now we want to take our destiny in our own hands. It's time to go. And the Americans, they didn't want to go. They wanted to control France and to control everything, and control their money, control the economy, and all the money they spent doing all these wars to save you. They wanted to make their money back. And the French started going uncontrollable. They were seeing that there was a revolution that was about to arrive in France. So the CIA paid all the corrupt politicians in France, paid everybody so that de Gaulle could be put president. And so everybody voted the way the Americans wanted. So they put de Gaulle, and then de Gaulle, of course, told them, hey, it's time to go. And it's so amazing that you see that some people that lived there, they lived this, they end up in doing the same thing that happened to them to other people. And that's where you really never have to fall for the narratives and the nice words that you hear the politicians say. It is never about democracy. It is always about balance of power and pressure from who's more powerful. It is always about that. Who has the most power is trying to exert that power on other people for the resources of this world. It is never nothing else. Whenever somebody tells you we're here to free the people of such, or we're here to do this, or we're fighting for democracy, it is never true. Never. Because in reality, why do you want to put your system on others' countries? In others people country, you wanna have people speak your language. You wanna have people use the money that you print, that you store in your bank, and you wanna decide their destiny because they cannot do it themselves. And this is why all this is happening right now in some part of Africa. Is people are just tired of this situation of feeling that they are not in control of their destiny. And when you go to the French television as a president and you go and say, hey, if we go, terrorism will spread, etc., etc. The question is not, and let me finish this sentence. If you say that, these people can say, listen, it is still our territory. We don't need you to decide for us and to explain what's going to happen if you go. If you go, you just go. We'll find a way. And if we need help from you or from somebody else, we will go and ask for it. And it is very interesting what the president of Burkina Faso said. He said, we want to take our future back into our hands. And we are not interested in all your stories because we know you lie. You know you are here for the interest. You're here for our gold, for our uranium, for our cobalt, for this and that. And yeah, listen, we're not saying that all you do is bad, but this idea that you have in your head that this is your place and we can only work with such and such, and when you do sanctions, everybody has to follow. When you do a sanction with a country, nobody can work with this country because the decisions of 5 countries that run the UN, it's supposed to be the UN, which is all of us, all the nations, not America and France and the UK decided for everybody else. This cannot work at a point. Maybe back in the days after the colonies or whatever, maybe it was the way it was. But as I keep telling people, you are witnessing the birth of a world that is multipolar, and there's going to be different type of tensions. It is what it is. And a lot of countries are saying, listen, you believe that we cannot make it on our own? Fine. We still want to try. And they have the right to try. They have the right to decide their own destiny and take their destiny in their hands. They have the right to do it. You guys are there going on TV. I was watching a debate. What up, Zuleika? I was watching a debate. What up, Daniel? I was watching a debate in on French TV, and the name of the debate was, should France go out of Africa? And my question was, why is it a question? What you mean? Should we leave a country that is not our country? Yeah, you're just the fact that these people are having debates on national TV, asking the question, makes no sense. How you asking questions? It's like, you in my house and you don't live here. You're not my family, but you in my living room for years, and I'm saying, hey, it's time to leave. And then you're like, should I leave? It's not your house. This is not your country. It's a sovereign country, and you have to learn to cooperate with this country and stop this idea that this is our garden. Us, France, these countries is our garden. They speak French. They have more people speaking French than French itself. But all this is the legacy of what you did. And you cannot go and say, yeah, but we built roads. Listen, there would have been roads with or without you. That's what you don't understand. So there's and it's like they said at the UN, like the guy of Burkina Faso said in the UN. He said, listen, you showed us how you are willing to put 100 billions for Ukraine and you don't care about Sudan. So all the things you say, they kind of, your indignation is selective. And people, they're just done with that. And I mean, I understand them. At a point, they just like, yeah, listen. There was there was these guys saying, how you gonna be there and control our money? How our money is called the franc? It's like, yo, how do you think it's normal? Like all these other countries, they have their own money, and us, we have a country that is called franc. When France itself don't use francs anymore. No, but no. How is it printed in France? How the money that I use is printed in France? Yo. Yeah, but if you're gonna listen. If we have to shoot ourselves in the foot, this is our feet. And there's this part where it feels like they don't understand that. They don't want that. They are pushing back. And listen, when Niger said, hey, we are the new rulers in town, we want you to leave, French president came and said, yeah, no, we don't obey to you because you are not legitimate. We only obey to the one that you took their place. But who are you to say who's legitimate or not? Listen, it means that you have this girl that you know, right? And she's your good friend and she has a boyfriend, right? And she lives at her boyfriend's house. Let's say they live in Switzerland with her boyfriend, and she's your good friend. And you say, I'm going to Switzerland. Oh, come to our house. Oh, are you sure? No, I can take no. Come to our house. So, yeah, but what about your husband? No, my husband is cool. Don't worry. I talked to him. He said, yeah, listen, we have extra rooms. You can come whenever you want. Okay. So you arrive to Switzerland. They come take you at the airport. This is my husband. Nice to meet you. Blah, 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 blah. You guys are cool. You go to their house. You sleep in their house. And then now every time you go to Switzerland, you sleep in their house because you are the friend of the wife, and it's all good. And all good. Then one day, for whatever reason, the husband is tired of his wife. And he gets another wife. It's just like, all right, next one. And you, let's say they change. So you talk to your friend. She's sad. He left me for another one. She's younger than me. Whatever. And now you're going to Switzerland again. They are separated. She lives maybe she went back to another country, and he now lives with his new wife in Switzerland. And you just come to her house, in fact, to his house. Ding dong. You're like, yeah, what up? I'm in town. I want to use my bedroom. And he's going to be like, you know that I'm not with your friend anymore. Yeah, but I mean, I always sleep in her house. Yeah, but I have a new girl, and she's not your friend. I'm not friends with your friend. So, I mean, I was not your friend. You were the friend of my wife. So, yeah, but I mean, hey, I'm used to coming to this house when I go. I say, yeah, but there's no. And then you say, yeah, but your new girl is not legitimate. Your ex-wife is the one. So, I'm staying here. That's exactly what they say when they told the ambassador, get the fuck out. The guys were like, nah, you're not legitimate. We will only talk to President Bazoum. And they're like, yo, since when you decide who's legitimate or not? You don't decide. What you have to do is, listen, there's a situation out there. It's not your country. There's a new power in place. There's nothing you can do. You have to talk with the new power. That's it. And for some reasons, you guys feel like it's normal to say this, and you don't understand that when you talk like this, people are like, oh, you think you run things here. That's how people take it. Maybe if you're not, that's not what you want to convey, this is still what you convey in the end. There's new people in town that are running things, and if they tell you, starting now, we run the country, so you have to go through us, that's what you have to do. And this idea that are we going to put international sanctions, listen, people should stop with this idea, because this is how, and especially in a world that is multipolar, if now the Occident is putting sanctions on you, countries have other choices now. They can talk to India, they can talk to China, they can talk to Russia, and whatever they need, they will get it there. Money, food, XYZ, places to sell their gold. And you cannot go, and this is what the French are doing. And like, if you look at them on TV, you're like, these people have no clue that the world is changing. Because the journalists will say, yeah, but I mean, how can they sell their gold to China? This is not a democracy. Look what they're doing to the Uyghur. And people are like, what does it have to do with me selling my gold? Now you cannot sell with them. They are evil. So what about you? Like, are you, so you think you're great people? Yo, listen, that this whole thing is funny as hell to watch. As I'm watching on TV all the debates, and I'm listening to all these people that are just trying to paint a narrative, and for them, like, the population is under the spell of the Russian propaganda, etc. That's what these people are saying, but they don't understand that they've been bullying and abusing their position for forever. And they've been creating situations where the same thing they did with Libya, creating all these refugee crises that they're crying about now, they are trying to do it in Ukraine now. And it's going to create the same thing. And look what's happening now. Like we told last week, the Polish, they're tired of the Ukrainian refugees and the Ukrainians abusing their position of Zelensky being the new Jesus. People are tired of that in some countries now. Because, yeah, people are just asking themselves, what's the point? And if you want people to want to play, and that's exactly what the was it the president? I'm not sure it was the president of Burkina Faso said, but what this person said in that discourse and I'll have to put the link. But what he said in this discourse was very simple. If you want us to play the game, we want the game to be fair. Meaning, same rules for everybody. We cannot have Gbagbo and African leaders in general, Russian and East European people that are sent to the international court in Den Haag, in Holland, in the Netherlands, and then somebody like Bush, Cheney, and all the people who lied, all the Americans who lied to create the war in Iraq based on nothing, just the fact that Iraq wanted to replace dollar with euros. They just bombed the shit out of them and killed millions of children and of men and women, innocent people, and destroyed the country. and then they stayed in that country. It's called an invasion. They did it, and they had no problem doing it. And nobody came to them when it is now clear. Everybody know it. They lied about the whole thing. There was no weapons of mass destruction. There was no XYZ. And listen, even if they were building atomic bombs, why should you have them and others' country not? What you mean, you can have them because you're responsible when you killed millions of Japanese people, because you're the only evil people who used atomic bombs. And now you're here telling people, hey, you cannot have them for the security of the world. You are the most dangerous people. You used them when you didn't need to use them, because you bombed the shit out of Japan so much back in the days that they were already abandoning, but you needed to test your little bombs. So these people said, hey, listen, these two cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, don't bomb them too much. We need to test the bombs. And you microwaved people. People exploded from inside. You did that, Americans. You should not have any say whenever we talk about these things. But you know why they do it? Because they can bully everybody, or they could for a long time. For the last 60 years, they could bully everybody, and they had the power of the media because they controlled all the voices that were talking everywhere around the world. What has happened the last 10 years is just that they don't control the media anymore. They don't control the voices anymore. They don't control the news anymore. And all these countries also created the networks of information. The Qatar has Al Jazeera. This has that. And if I was the president of Congo, first thing I will do, I would create a Congolese news network that is aired all around the world to give the information from our point of view as well. And this is what is going on right now. People had no choice back then, and if they would come out of the ranks, they would have either destruction, a war, or whoever were the rebels or the terrorists in their countries, they would be armed, or you would be assassinated. That's exactly what happened to Lumumba, Olympio, and everybody else in the independences. Whenever the first president was starting to want to really be independent, they would get killed. And then whoever killed them was placed in power and protected. That's what happened. So you cannot think that all the people who've seen the history are going to continue acting as if they don't understand what's going on. And if you have other people, China, India, Russia, Iran, North Korea, whoever that is proposing them another type of collaboration, yes, they will try that. And if your only response to that is you cannot work with them because they are bad, these people will tell you, well, it's not like you're good. So listen, it's like, listen, I remember, like I had my ex-girlfriend who was like, listen, did everything, cheated on me, all that stuff, and she didn't know what she wants. And at a point, I told her, you know what? I met somebody, I'm getting a new girl, I'm moving on with my life to something else. And she told me, you can't do that. I was like, why not? Because you're mine. And I don't need this right now. Is it the fridge? Why is this not turned? I turned it off. Oops. yeah, her reply to me was like, oh, because you mine, and she's not as good as me, and whatever. And I was like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm on to the next, because you don't deserve me. And yeah, she made it a scandal, and she would talk to people, and she would say, oh, he just left me like that. And then people will come to me, and I would tell them, they didn't just left her like that. I just did what was right for me. And that's how these people are, and all these countries are feeling. Does this mean that their new friends will treat them well? We don't know. Does this mean that they will succeed? We don't know. Maybe they will fail miserably. Maybe they will have intestinal civil wars when people are trying to get the power. Maybe they will have to go through all this until they finally arrive to a position where after maybe a generation, they will find a way. And that's what they want. Nobody, no other country can be there telling them, oh no, what you want is not valid. Because we decide what you want. Or we know what is best for you. You what? These people are amazing. Princess Leo is saying, hello, Kaysha, sending love from Canada. Hey, Princess Leo, thank you. It's funny, today the chat is only on Facebook. Seems like the YouTube algorithm didn't call all my Shada gang. It's funny. Zuleika is saying it's because behind those helps is hiding economics and political businesses. Of course. Of course. Zuleika says Mr. Gaddafi never let the other country decide for Libya when he was alive. That's why he was killed. That's exactly why they got rid of him. They were like, yo, bro, now you're not going to do your money. Now you're not going to stop using dollars, etc. Emery saying, I'm not listening to no more French TV. Oh, well, you know, I stopped listening to French TV as well for a long time. And there's a few shows that I watch still. I don't want to lose my French too. So I listen to a few shows, but not all of them. I watch a few of them that are that have guests that disagree, but they are able to be respectful to each other. And it is true that now most of us, we prefer listening to good journalists that are not conspiracy theorists on YouTube. And there are a lot of them that are saying interesting things. But something I always try to do is to listen to the point of view of the people that I disagree with, just because it is important to not be just in your own echo chamber and to only talk to people who agree with you. It is also important to listen to somebody who disagree and understand why they disagree, and if they are able to say something that makes sense. And when you know the history, and unlike most people that are watching TV that are dumb, if you understand history, you understand the real reasons of everything, when these people are giving their arguments, you can see when they lie, or when they dishonest, or when they forget a part of the argument that changes everything, and they make their argument fall. But it's interesting to also listen to some people have good arguments, because I don't believe in the idea that it's only because of France, everything that has happened. I believe that there's also part of the leadership that has a problem. There's a part of corruption. There's a part of the way some people are. But at the same time, when you go to others people's country and you force them your language, your religion, your political system to other people that have nothing to do with you, it doesn't work. And we can see it here. What up, Frankie? Frankie's saying, I shot again. Yes, the West and France in particular is so clueless right now. No wonder they're getting so outclassed years after years. Yeah. Listen, I believe that it's, when I'm going to talk again about that situation, but when I decide to leave my ex-girlfriend, she was in shock because most of the people who have been with her put up with her bullshit because she was so beautiful, and nobody ever left her. She was more the one who leaves. So when I was like, listen, you can be you can be the most beautiful girl in the world. First of all, I've seen beautiful hundreds of times. I travel the world and I'm not impressed by this. And second of all, if you are ugly inside and you are not able to treat people the right way, there's no reason to stay. But the problem was everybody else before me stayed. They stayed because, no, I cannot leave her. She's too beautiful. Me, I was like, yo, bye. You can be as cute as you want. I'm out. And because, listen, I'm not I've been with so many beautiful women that it's not just that part that's gonna make me stay. It's not enough, because I can have another 20 like you. So I believe that France is there as well. They have no clue, and the whole West have no clue, because all our leaders and the ones before were born in a world that was like that. We are the ones, we are the good people, we know the truth, we have the moral finger when we say, oh no, this is bad what you do. We know what is good, what is bad. And when the rest of the world is saying, listen, 10% of the world cannot decide for the other 90%. Because if you take the Europeans, it's 400 million people. You take the Americans, it's another 400 million people. So that's 800 million people. You cannot have 800 million people decide for the remaining 6 billion people. But these 800 million people, or let's say 1 billion people, that's all they know. So yeah, they believe that a society should be the way they see society. They believe that all the rights that are given to every group in their society, they also have to export this to everybody else. They believe that all the superheroes should be Americans, and even if they are from Wakanda, it's an imaginary country, but where in reality, all these people that you see in your movie speaking with accents, they're all Americans. So to them, it is normal. And if you look at from their point of view, for you, yeah, it's normal. Yeah, we're the one. And if you are from the other countries, you're like, listen, I mean, if I was Russian, I would be a little tired to be the bad guy in every movie in America. Or if I was Arab, like, if you're not Russian, if it's not a Russian, it's a terrorist Arab group. How do you think this makes people feel on the other side when they're watching movies and they're like, yo, so I cannot have a bird because... And that's the problem of all these propaganda. And if everybody start also doing their movies where the Americans are bad, it's going to also create an agenda and propaganda in all these other countries. But the Americans will not let these movies play in their cinemas when they want their movies everywhere, because they control the whole economical stack. And in a world where companies are becoming slowly stronger than countries, the tables are turning. It is what it is. It is what it is. Zuleika is saying, beauty or money is not enough to keep someone close to you. Relationship needs respect, freedom, loyalty, and a dose of passion and craziness. Now, me, I'm not for craziness anymore. Passion, craziness, I'm not for those things anymore. I'm done. Yeah, listen. Marie Désir is saying, Kaysha, I'm so happy. But this song, you very good. Thank you so much, Marie Désir. You can speak in French, you know. I understand every language. All right, listen. Last subject before I go. It's been an hour already. Cool. I want to say a last thing before I go. Oh, man, do I keep it for the next week? Do I keep it for Sunday? Maybe not. Let me see. Maybe Sunday I'll not be there. Let me see. I didn't even speak about Entourage. Oh, Lord. I'm going to have to change the name of that show. I did my hour, but I didn't even talk about the main subject. Let me stay and talk about it. I want to talk to you about a French rapper called MHD. And it's a guy that, I mean, he's famous for I mean, they say that he I wouldn't say invented, but I mean, he was one of the first in France. I mean, we did this before, a long time before, but he did. I would say that he imported Portuguese Afro house, and he labeled it Afro trap in France. And he had that track called La Puissance. He really like blew up. And you know, good kid, great songs, cool concept, mixing Afro and trap. Even before the Nigerians were big, he was there, did his thing, good thing. But he was part of I guess street. The people from his neighborhood, and the people from his street or his neighborhood, or you know, decided that they wanted to get revenge about I don't know what, about one kid, one young man, and they all went, 20 people, and they stabbed that kid 20 times, cut his nose, cut his balls, like crazy violence for no reason. And the problem was that his car was there, and people say that he was there. And so he ended up because of, I don't know, maybe wanting to prove his street credibility to his people, he just got sentenced to 12 years in prison for the murder of this young kid. French rapper MHD was sentenced Saturday to 12 years in prison for the 2018 murder of a young man in Paris who was rammed with a car before being set upon by a mob and stabbed. Him and his 5 fellow defendants were also jailed over the killing, receiving jail terms between 10 and 18 years over what prosecutors said was a fight between rival gangs. 3 other men were acquitted. The pioneer of Afro Trap, a mix of hip-hop and African traditions, MHD rose to fame after becoming a viral sensation in 2015. The 20-year-old, whose real name is Mohamed Silla, was charged with homicide in January 19 and imprisoned. He was released after a year and a half in custody as investigation continued and released a new album. As Saturday's verdict was handed down, several women in the public gallery burst into tears. MHD hugged one of them, maintaining his composure. Those convicted, who all pleaded not guilty, have 10 days to appeal. During his final statement to the court, before it retired to render the verdict after 3 weeks of proceeding, he again proclaimed his innocence. From the beginning, I have maintained my innocence in this case, and I will continue to maintain my innocence, he told the packed court. The prosecutor had asked for 18 years prison sentence for the rapper, acquittal for the 2 of the accused, and jail sentence of 20 years for the others. On the night of July 15, 23-year-old, he was not a kid, it was very young still. 23-year-old Loic K was rammed by a black Mercedes and then beaten up and stabbed by around a dozen people in a greedy part of the capital's 10th arrondissement. Although the rapper denied having been at the scene, a local resident filmed the incident from his window, and the Mercedes was quickly identified as belonging to MHD. Other witnesses identified him by his haircut or a sweatshirt by Puma, for which he was a brand ambassador, according to investigating reports by the AFP. The car was found abandoned and burned out in a car park the day after the killing. A judicial truth emerged despite the law of silence, said Juliette Chapelle, lawyer for the victim's family. The killing happened at the Cité des Chaufourniers, a low-income estate in the area of the former pizza delivery driver, an area that the former pizza delivery driver continued to frequent despite his fame. The football mat performer, who was born in France to Guinean and Senegalese parents, is best known for Afro Trap 3 Champions League, a song in praise for the Paris Saint-Germain football club. He had made waves abroad, drawing admiration from global stars such as Drake and Madonna. All right. To me, the only thing I can say in French is quel gâchis. It is the same as you from the ghetto, you have no money, you have nothing to eat, you're here struggling, you're trying to make it, to make ends meet, and one day you win at Euro Million, the lottery. You win, let's say you win 20 million. Enough to leave the hood, to leave all these behind, put your mom and your dad in a nice house, and have a better life. It's like you've been chosen. You've been chosen among everybody else that is just roaming this earth, trying to survive, trying to make it, trying to fulfill their dreams. And you have a dream of rapping and all of a sudden something happens, and boom, you start climbing the steps of fame, and you are now ready to yeah. All of a sudden, you're there struggling. I'm hungry. I can only eat hamburgers at McDonald's or rice, and like my parents are struggling to pay for education. Everything is hard, and all of a sudden, you have a ticket here, and with this ticket, you make 20 million. But now you have to keep it for a month. You have to keep this ticket for a month, because only in a month then you can go to the lottery place, give your ticket in exchange of a transfer in your bank account of 20 million. And now that it's all good, you always keep your ticket with you, or maybe you put it in a safe, I don't know. And then, I don't know, you decide to go with your ticket because you always keep it with you. You decide to, because you're so happy, to jump out of a parachute. And as you jump the parachute and everything is fine, I don't know, you had your ticket in your pocket, and then the ticket flies in the air. And when you land safely, but you lost 20 million. Where all you had to do was take your ticket and put it in front of you in a room, and not leave this room for a month. Stay there. Make sure it's there. Put it in a safe. Go find a place, a bank somewhere. Put it in a safe. Don't say put it in a safe that is resists water, flames, etc. You just put it there, and you leave it there for a month with only you know the code, and you just leave it there, and you wait a month. And in a month, when it's time to go meet the people of La Française des Jeux in France, or Euromillion in wherever, Casa something here in Portugal, you just open your safe, you take your ticket, and you go become rich. And now you have to change your life. And instead of that, because the guys from your neighborhood are little gangsters, and you want to prove to them that you a gangster, you take your car that you bought and your joggers that the brand Puma gave you, and that they own it. It's like an exclusive model that is only given to celebrities that they work with. So it's not something people can buy anywhere. Only you can have it. You go with that, you wear it, and you take your car and you drive on top of a kid, and with your friends you stab him, you kill him. Bravo. Like, listen, I'm not from the streets, so I don't understand, and I never understood the concept of street credibility. When I wanted to rap and I was younger, a lot of people in the rap world in France, they hated me because they knew that I lived in the good neighborhoods of Paris, and that my dad was the ambassador of Congo at that time. And a lot of people were hating. A lot of these, we were all like 18, 17, 19. A lot of them, they were hating because I was not from the streets. And me, I was like, you guys make no sense. First of all, it's not my fault if my parents have money. I'm lucky that I was born there, but it has nothing to do with me. And my dad was born poor. He climbed up to arrive in the place that you all dream to go. So normally, if we are all rappers and some of you make it, you will arrive there too. And your kids, it's not going to be their fault that they are born rich as well. So why are you hating me for something that I'm not responsible of? And why are you hating me for being the son of somebody that you are trying to be? And yeah, you know, well, you can rap. Rap is about the struggle. You cannot rap. Rap is and I was like, art is art. And if I want to do art and I'm inspired by art, I will do art. I don't care about your opinions. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. While I'm performing, don't come to the front. Go to the bar. Let the girls, because back then, yeah, when I was performing, it was mostly girls in the front. Yeah, let the girls enjoy. And after that, whenever your buddy is performing, come in the front. And yeah, but you know, what you know about the street? And I was like, I don't know nothing about the streets. And there's nothing there that is so glamorous. Beating people, killing people, going to jail. I don't see what's so cool about that. Personally, no. What is cool to me are things that are completely different. And here you have people who they dream of living a situation. They work hard. They have talent. They use this talent to live a situation, but then they keep the entourage. They keep their bad entourage because they are the people they grew up with and they want to take everybody with them. And when people become that successful, it's the same as winning the lottery. You're gonna have people, they win the lottery. Once they have their 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, they will take all their friends that they grew up with, good people, bad people, and they will go and they're gonna spend all this money in 1 year by living like crazy. And then once they spend all the money, all their friends are gonna start hating them because there's no more money. And some others, they will look in their entourage and they will see who is worth taking with them. Who do I give a little bit of money to, especially to their moms and not to them directly. I go to all the moms that helped me, see me grow up, that kept me or gave me some food when my mom was not there, all that stuff. That's when you try to, let's say you take, you made 20 million, you take 3 million out of your 20 million. Let's say after tax you have 20 million. You take 3 million out of your 20 million. You go see the moms of all your good friends that you grew up with, and you go say, Dantine, this is for you. Let's say it's 20 of them. You divide your 3 million into 150 for each of them, each 20 of them, and you go and you give them 150. Hey, this is to survive and to pay for this, the school of this or the hospital of that. Listen, thank you so much. Then you go see your friends. Maybe you take a million, you share to all your good homies, and we party and whatever. You give it to them. You still have 16M in the bank. You spend 4 million in your hood, in the families, in the homies, and now it is time to get the fuck out. Go get you a nice house in another country or in a good neighborhood, and only give the address and your new number to the people who are worth it in your area. And then from time to time, yes, You can invite people to dinner and meet them, but you don't go and continue to hang out in the bad places. I understand. People are territorial. People are tribal. I understand that. But there's a point you have to change in order to go to the next level. And sometimes you can take your whole entourage with you if they are able themselves to change their ways. The problem is you made the money, not them. So now, yeah, they might look at you like, yeah, you changed. Of course I'm changing. And what they do, they grab you by the foot and they bring you back down to the sewer with them. And now you're going to spend 10 years in jail. And when you come out, you might not be famous anymore, because what can happen in 10 years, a lot of things. And hopefully you had some money on the side, because nobody's going to be wanting to play your music. I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about the radios. So you're not going to make like that much money from intellectual rights. Maybe you're going to make money from streams, because you have fans that will continue to listen to your music. But you're not going to be able to do the real money, which is shows. You're not going to be able to do all the tours that would have secured you. All these for what? For street credibility? All right. Same thing with Ja Morant. Exactly, Emery. Same thing. It's all good, but you still want to be there. And what are we gonna do? Zuleika is saying, good evening, sweet dreams to all of you. Hey, blessings, Zuleika. I'm about to go too. I'll be back Sunday at 10:30. Frankie's talking about the subject before. Good point about movies and soft power. China movies industry and Bollywood understood that, and they have been putting quite good quality action, sci-fi, and superhero movies for some time now. Yep. Same thing with the Koreans. The Koreans, they have the whole thing set up. Dramas, K-pop, all these things. It is a soft power. It's something. Listen, me, president of Congo, I take like, I think I would pour 10, 30, 50 million every year just for movies created on the country with good actors, good directors, people that are trained to really do good movies, or people, yeah. I would do that to also come start doing soft power and have cinemas built around the city with all the rules so that people can enjoy a good movie. Yeah. What are we gonna do? It is what it is. This show was brought to you by Shadaware.com, the gods of good fortune. Thanks to Anan Saudi, our stream royalty, and all the sponsors as always. Sorry that I was late tonight. And as always, you can watch the replay if you didn't watch this episode. And don't forget to go to the channel and comment on the latest clips of the Club Shada episodes. All right, my people, if you enjoyed the show, put some rainbows in the chat. It was a pleasure seeing you guys, and I'm going to leave you with a track that is another version of my track, Something Going On, but this time in Brega Funk version, produced by none other than Mike Moonite, and I will see you when I see you, which is Sunday. Or maybe not Sunday, because my dad's going to be there and I have this Kizomba festival. Maybe next week. We'll see. I'll tell you. Maybe I'll show up in the afternoon. We'll see. Bless.
just the way that a man and a girl are supposed to be.